Welcome back to Opening Statements. This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Her remains discovered earlier this month in a wooded area in Kissimmee, Florida. And her mother's boyfriend, Stephan Stearns, is the prime suspect in her death. He has not yet been charged in connection with her death. He's only facing child sex abuse charges pertaining to beautiful Madeline. Court TV producer Cody Thomas returned to the scene of the crime. He is joining us live this morning with the very latest. Cody, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Julie. We did, of course, take that trip down Hickory Tree Road, ultimately where Madeline Soto's body was found by police. And in all essences of the phrase, when we went down that road, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, moderately busy, a lot of flat land, but eventually after going 3 or 4 miles down that long span of road, we did eventually find the exact spot where Madeline Soto was found by police. Let's take a look. So we just turned onto Hickory Road where Madeline Soto's body was found, not to be confused with Old Hickory Road. That's where police and investigators say they did catch Stephan Stearns in that 2010 Lincoln MKZ changing a tire the morning of February 26 when Maddie Soto went missing. But as we look out here on Hickory Road, we see that it's pretty flat. There are some wooded areas to the left. If you look up to the right of the road, that is it. That's the exact spot where Maddie Soto was found. But right here behind me is the memorial site, actually where she was found, right in between those trees. And we actually have some community advocate members out here with us, and they tell us that one of them actually has been in contact with the owner of this land right here behind me. And that day, that morning of February 26th, they say that gate was open just across the street here in this area. This little divot off of Hickory Road is where a witness online describes where he saw Stephan Stearns kneeling down, changing a tire that morning of February 26th when Maddie Soto went missing. Now you can see it's just a little gravel divot, a lot of flat land back here, private farmland. And of course, when we were out at that memorial, Julie, we saw 5 or 6 people coming up, giving trinkets to the memorial, letters, teddy bears, just honoring the life of little Madeline Soto.
Cody, wanted to ask you, please, that area you showed us where Madeline's body was found, and it is believed by police that her body was moved in the early morning hours the day that she died. I'm curious how busy the area is. Could there have been cars going by at the time, maybe some witnesses to this that we just haven't heard about yet?
Yes, that's a good thing to point out there, Julie. When we were out there, it was moderately busy. We saw maybe 15 to 20 cars, but it was absolutely possible because we know it was done allegedly in the morning. So it was broad daylight. If anyone came by, they definitely would have seen him doing something if that were the case.
Right, Cody, this just sounds funny, the whole changing of the tire, all of that. So we know he was on the side of the road at one point, but we wonder, is it even confirmed that he had that flat tire, huh?
That is the question right now, because as we've been down here talking to some people, there's a Hickory Tree Road and there's an Old Hickory Tree Road. And the police report says the flat tire was taking place on Old Hickory Tree Road. A witness statement online says it was Hickory Tree Road. So there could be a little confusion going back and forth as to where exactly that he was. But it is what we've picked up to be described as right across from where that body was found. So, you know, if he was out there, could the flat tire have been a ruse to try to look like an act to make it easier to go dump a body across that fence? We'll know when more information comes out.
You read my mind, Cody. Could be staging. Our next guest will speak to that, but want to say a big thank you to you. Court TV producer Cody Thomas, thank you so much for that update from Florida. Now I want to bring in that very special guest. You will recognize him. He is a forensics expert. He's the owner of Kenny Kinsey and Associates, Dr. Kenny Kinsey. Good morning to you, Dr. Kinsey. Thanks for coming on the program today.
Good morning, Ms. Julie. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you heard me talking with Cody about, was he there making it look like he was changing a tire to be in the vicinity to dispose of the body? Curious of, you know, what your thoughts are on that, Dr. Kinsey.
Well, Ms. Julie, many times these predators really don't have a plan for the end game. So you may see a level of staging, they call it ad hoc staging, where it's not necessarily premeditated, but Stearns is taking advantage of every opportunity to dispose of this young lady.
Right, and Dr. Kinsey, I'm wondering if the homicide occurred in the home. I'm just wondering that because of the allegations of sexual abuse that have already been brought against Stephan Stearns. And then we know police have said there was a point where they've got surveillance video of his car returning to the home, and they believe that Madeline's body is already lifeless, but still in that vehicle at the time. And then they believe, you know, the disposal perhaps may have occurred in the early morning hours the day after her death. Talk to us about your thoughts on how this child might have died, and then how the plan to dispose of her body may have been carried out.
Well, in this situation, Ms. Julie, I believe what we see is that law enforcement did enough in stage one that they can slow down the game. They have these additional charges with exploitation and trafficking of other children. So they're able to slow it down. They've got Stearns put where he needs to be, and I don't believe we're going to see him ever get out. But now law enforcement can slow down and do that methodical forensic investigation, and I'm sure they are probably processing evidence daily to get us those answers. But the perfect part of this investigation, if you could have a perfect part, was they come out of the gate swinging, and they got enough on the front end that.
And we may be having a little bit of difficulty with your video. Let's take a look at a clip from the Sheriff's Department. They're talking about the items that belonged to little Madeline found in a dumpster.
We have video evidence that shows Stephan Stearns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster.
Okay, looks like we have your shot back, Dr. Kinsey. The tech gremlins are interrupting us this morning, so I wanted to just give you a chance. The last part of what you were saying, would you mind repeating it for us so we have it, please?
No, ma'am, I don't mind. I was praising law enforcement for coming out of the gate swinging. They have gathered enough information that they can slow down now. They can be methodical instead of pushed against the wall and having to react. And hopefully they won't make those mistakes with that forensic evidence that are all too common. We all make them. But now they've got time on their side now, because I don't believe Stearns is going anywhere.
That's a really great point, Dr. Kinsey. I'm thinking, and I said this on my show a couple of days ago, I'm thinking that they're doing a grand jury presentment right now on the homicide case. And to your point, you're right. They've got him locked up. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to harm anyone if he is the predator that law enforcement believes he is. Tell us, please, Dr. Kinsey, if you were hired to consult on this case and try to figure out how little Madeline died, walk us through what you would do, please.
As I've said many times, Ms. Julie, I would break it up. You've got several different crime scenes here. You've got the location in the brush 20 miles away where Stearns allegedly dumped little Madeline. You've got the vehicle, and then you've got the home or wherever this crime took place. But let's just say it's not in the home. Let's say it was mobile, it was in the vehicle. You still have a level of sexual assault and all kind of horrible things that you know, this young lady lived through prior to this act. So you've got at least 4 crime scenes from the jump. And I would break them down, take them one at a time. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And I would break it down and have someone in charge, someone coordinating the entire action. And we would work them one at a time, and then everyone get together and stay in touch. And we would put it together and try to make a great case.
You know, hearing you say that, Dr. Kinsey, it's the first time I've heard anyone say there are really 4 crime scenes here. That really helps you think about the actions that occurred here from the time that child was supposed to go to school and was never brought to school, and from the time that her precious body was recovered, discarded like trash. We've got to leave it there for now, but would love to have you back on this case and on many others when you have time. Dr. Kenny Kinsey, thank you for the excellent analysis today. We'll see you soon. Thank you. And when we come back, my friends, we're going to bring you up to speed on Monday's motions hearing in the Delphi murders case as we look ahead to justice for these two beautiful girls, Abby and Libby. A drug ring, a double murder, and deadly secrets in a small town.
Prosecutors allege Timothy Verrill killed two women because he believed they were working as police informants.
The Small Town Secrets murder trial, today on Court TV.
There's no way, Logan, I can never come up with this.
We're moving closer to the trial in the case against Chad Daybell.
Prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty.
It's the doomsday prophet, Chad Daybell, on trial.